Josef Schwab, a name lost to the annals of time until it became synonymous with horror. He was an enigma, an ordinary man harboring extraordinary darkness. Born in Germany in 1958, he immigrated to Australia seeking a new life. What he found, however, was a chilling destiny. In 1987, Schwab embarked on a killing spree that would forever scar the Australian outback. Armed with an arsenal of weapons, he transformed from an unassuming immigrant into a ruthless predator. His hunting ground, the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Kimberley region. Schwab's motives remain shrouded in mystery. No twisted manifesto, no prior history of violence, just a sudden, inexplicable descent into madness. His victims, innocent travelers drawn to the allure of the outback, became unwitting pawns in his deadly game. The first whispers of terror emerged from the remote town of Fitzroy Crossing. Two bodies, later identified as Marcus Bullen and his son Lance, were discovered in shallow graves. The brutality of the murders sent shockwaves through the community, shattering the tranquility of the outback. Days later, the body of a young woman, Julie Warren, was found near the Pentecost River. She had been shot execution style. Her fiancé, Phillip Walkemeyer, was missing, his fate unknown. The police, realizing they were dealing with something far more sinister than an isolated incident, launched a massive manhunt. Fear gripped the region. Tourists, once eager to explore the rugged beauty of the outback, abandoned their plans, seeking refuge in the relative safety of towns and cities. The once welcoming wilderness had transformed into a hunting ground, stalked by a phantom menace. As the body count rose, so did the pressure on the authorities. The eyes of the nation, and indeed the world, were on the Australian outback. The West Australian Police Tactical Response Group, an elite unit trained for high-risk situations, was called in to spearhead the hunt for Schwab. The TRG, armed with helicopters and advanced weaponry, faced a daunting task, tracking down a single man in a landscape as vast and unforgiving as the Australian outback. Days turned into weeks, the relentless sun beating down on both the hunters and the hunted. Schwab, a skilled bushman, used his knowledge of the terrain to his advantage, leaving a trail of false leads and stolen supplies in his wake. He seemed to vanish into thin air, a ghost haunting the desolate landscape.
The scale of the search was unprecedented. We were up against a man who knew the outback like the back of his hand. It was a game of cat and mouse, and Schwab was always one step ahead.
The human cost of Schwab's reign of terror was, immeasurable. Families torn apart by grief, lives cut short, dreams shattered.
The victims, hailing from all walks of life, were united by their love for adventure and their tragic encounter with a monster. There was Marcus and Lance Bullen, a father and son on a fishing trip that turned deadly. Their bond, forged in the crucible of the outback, was brutally severed by Schwab's bullets.
Julie Warren and Phillip Walkemeyer, young lovers planning a life together, their dreams extinguished in a hail of gunfire. And then there were the countless others, their stories untold, their lives forever altered by the shadow of Schwab's crimes.
The collective grief of a nation resonated across the airwaves, a somber reminder of the fragility of life. The breakthrough came after weeks of relentless pursuit. A farmer miles from civilization reported a suspicious man matching Schwab's description.
The TRG, their resolve hardened by weeks of frustration, converged on the location. A tense standoff ensued. Schwab, cornered and desperate, fired on the approaching officers. In the ensuing exchange of gunfire, he was fatally wounded.
The reign of the Kimberley killer was over. His death, however, provided little solace. The mystery of his motives remained. His silence, a final act of defiance, left a void that could never be filled. The scars of his crimes, both physical and emotional, ran deep. 30 years later, the name Josef Schwab still evokes a sense of dread in Australia. His crimes, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most ordinary individuals. The outback, once a symbol of freedom and adventure, now carries a whisper of caution.
The legacy of the Kimberley killer extends beyond the immediate victims. It forced Australia to confront the vulnerability of its vast interior and the need for increased safety measures. It sparked a national conversation about gun control, mental health, and the unpredictable nature of violence.
But perhaps the most enduring legacy of Josef Schwab is the haunting reminder that evil can wear many faces. It can be a stranger passing in the night or the seemingly unassuming neighbour next door. It is a chilling truth that continues to resonate long after the echoes of gunfire have faded.